We recently took a trip through America's heartland, and we're so excited to finally travel along Route 66. We took the mother road from St. Louis to Santa Fe. In this video, we'll highlight some of the places we explored along the way. Route 66 runs just over 2,400 miles from Chicago to Santa Monica, California. We explored about 1,000 miles of this legendary mother road from St. Louis to Santa Fe. We started our journey in St. Louis and had only a few days to explore. You could easily take weeks to travel this historic highway and see all the sights along the way, but we only hit a few of the places we found most interesting. We stayed on the interstate through St. Louis so we wouldn't get mired down in city traffic pulling a travel trailer. But shortly thereafter, it was time to exit the interstate and jump on Route 66. Our first stop was the small town of Cuba, Missouri. This is known as the Route 66 Mural City. The town is loaded with really nice murals depicting life and history along Route 66. It's fun to drive through this community, searching out the different murals. There are even maps available to help you on your way. Today, Cuba maintains 14 large murals painted throughout the city, with many other private additions to the portfolio. We also took this opportunity to grab some lunch before we got back on the road, and we were glad we did. Missouri Hick BBQ is on the east side of town and definitely worth a stop. Reasonably priced and fresh off the smoker barbecue and many other home-style offerings has kept folks coming back to this hotspot for years. On a side note, on the way out of town, don't be like us and miss the world's largest rocking chair. Just another one of the hundreds of quirky stops along this road. Our next stop was the Uranus Fudge Factory in Uranus, Missouri. Although everyone here seems to be proud to exclaim they're from Uranus, not Uranus, this place is really fun with many hilarious t-shirts and anything that could possibly be turned into a pun. Of course, being a fudge factory, they're quick to offer to pack your fudge as soon as you walk in the door. Also, be sure to pick up a copy of the Uranus Examiner on the way out for all the big news coming out of Uranus. As we headed on down the highway, our next destination was Weatherford, Oklahoma, and the Stafford Air and Space Museum. This was named in honor of Weatherford native and legendary test pilot and astronaut, Lieutenant General Thomas P. Stafford. What's really cool is they allow free overnight parking for folks with an active Harvest Host membership. So we took advantage of this, toured the museum, and stayed the night. This museum started from humble beginnings out of a 6-foot display case in the 1970s to a modern 63,000 square foot museum filled with aircraft and space flight memorabilia. We were truly amazed at the scope of this museum, which is kinda in the middle of nowhere. Sorry, citizens of Weatherford. Seriously though, we really did love this stop. Next up was the National Route 66 Museum in Elk City, Oklahoma. You could easily spend a half a day here looking at all of the history and artifacts from Route 66 from its beginnings in the 1920s through the modern era. This complex actually boasts 5 museums at one location. The Old Town Museum, the Farm and Ranch Museum, the Blacksmith Museum, the Butler Brothers Rodeo Museum, and much more. There are numerous buildings to go through and some really cool memorabilia and artifacts from the past. The Old Town Museum is based in a beautiful 2-story Victorian house where you'll be able to find mementos from early day pioneer life, displays in the Stars and Stripes room, Native American gallery, and more. Some of the buildings you can tour include a one-room schoolhouse, a telegraph operator and the train station, and a recreation of downtown businesses. There's a nice gift shop, classic cars and motorcycles, historic recreations, and the farm and blacksmith area are huge. It's in a giant building in the back and has tons of old farm equipment, tractors, trucks, and windmills. The blacksmith area is also very extensive and really interesting. Amarillo, Texas was our next stop along Route 66. We stopped at the visitor center and asked what we need to see in the area. Without question, the first suggestion was Palo Duro Canyon just outside of town. While not officially on Route 66, this was a stop we were really excited to check out. Again, this was a destination we had never even heard of, and that's what makes traveling like this so interesting. Second only to the Grand Canyon, this Texas treasure allows visitors to drive down to the bottom of the canyon with miles of road to explore once you get there. People have lived in this canyon for over 12,000 years, with the first inhabitants hunting mammoth and giant bison. In modern times, the canyon was a large ranch before being built and transformed by the Civilian Conservation Corps in the 1930s into what we now know as Palo Duro State Park. Today, Palo Duro Creek Ranch offers jeep tours, horseback riding, and much more on a working cattle ranch. Our next stop was the iconic Cadillac Ranch just off Route 66 in Amarillo.
What'd you put on it?
Jim loves Peg, of course. It was neat to be able to actually walk up to the cars and see them up close. The spray paint, which can be purchased at a trailer near the entrance, is over 6 inches thick in some places. It's hard to believe so many people have painted messages on these cars, from a simple hello to elaborate artistic murals on the trunk or on the hood. But then the next guy comes in and just might paint right over top of it. Only about a half-mile down the road was the Second Amendment Cowboy, a true, quirky roadside attraction. This monument to the Second Amendment was worth the stop just to check it out. In true Texas fashion, he reminds everyone that's a legal citizen of the United States of their right to bear arms. There are also 3 Cadillacs on display here, but one thing's for sure, no spray paint allowed. Our next stop was a quick overnight in Tucson, New Mexico at the Blaze Inn Saddle RV Resort. Not a lot going on here, but we did drive through town and check out some of the relics from days gone by. I wish I would have got a few more pics, but we were hungry and completely wore out from traveling. After a good night's sleep, we were ready to hit the road. On the way out of town, we noticed this old truck parked by the side of the road. We both thought this looked really cool and the scene really typified the desert Southwest, which meant we had to stop and get a photo. No trip to this part of the country would be complete without a visit to an authentic ghost town, and that's just what we found in Cuervo, New Mexico. Pretty cool driving through here, and a little creepy, but we didn't see anyone else around, so we felt kinda safe. This town was built in 1901 and peaked in the 1940s with a population of over 300. After being split in two by Interstate 40, the town started to dry up. And now it's just a shell of a once thriving community. We were kind of expecting someone to jump out of one of the houses, but I'm pretty sure Peg and I were the only ones in town. Still, we didn't stick around to explore very much. We just took a few pictures, shot a little video, and then got the heck out of Dodge. Or Cuervo, to be exact. Okay, well that's enough of Creepyville, and now we're back on the road again on the way to Santa Fe. We were surprised to see how close we were to one of the big fires burning out west as we drove near the Santa Fe Mountains. This was the Hemet's Peak and Calf Canyon fires that burned over 350,000 acres. At this point, we're only about an hour from Santa Fe and just enjoying the scenery around Pecos and Glorieta. We are definitely looking forward to a few days in Santa Fe and just relaxing from the drive. We hope you enjoyed this video about our trip down Route 66. Just remember, please don't get stuck in the rut of going back to the same old vacation spot over and over again. Try to find an opportunity to explore everything the United States has to offer, and most importantly, learn to enjoy the journey. Thanks for watching, and if you'd like to see more videos like this, please subscribe to our YouTube channel.